Boys review, guys. Let's get right to it. What's going on, Alamo City Movie Talk fans? As always, I'm your host, Ryan D. aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that Kelly
And this is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. You know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Like, share, subscribe, and thank you for watching us. Thank you for making us a part of your day. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our movie reviews, other movie reviews that we come out. Lex came out with his own Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer reactions already out, and then by this time I probably will have the full review out. His full review spoilers. Check it out, guys. And if you haven't seen that, check it out, or vice versa, and let's get right to it because we're talking about award movies, and this movie is definitely going to get nominated, I feel like, and I have a huge passion when it comes to work of arts, when it comes to filmmaking and everything. But Angela, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Nickel Boys today.
Nickel Boys, guys. Nickel Boys, this movie is such a grand of a film. It's such a powerful, impactful movie, and we talk about impactful movies where how much they mean to us, and a lot of times in my head I'm like, this is the reason why I love talking about movies. This is the reason why I love just conversating with other moviegoers such as myself, us, and this is why I started the podcast, for movies like this that are just so powerful, so impactful, from a different style of filming. This is from a first person point of view filming style, and I gotta admit, when the first 5 to 10 minutes I was like, oh gosh, it's gonna be like this whole movie, but then the shots are just so beautifully done. Cinematically, its cinematography is so grand. It's so great. It's so rich. It's a great, impactful storytelling that I feel like that should be in the history books now that it has come out and everything. And I feel like that history people that are just majoring in anything in history, or just even history alone, it's just, I feel like that this should be a film that should be talked about, a film that should be recognized, a film that should be really, a scene for all the high school level and everything. But Angela, what did you think of Nickel Boys?
So I didn't know that it was based on the real life academy.
Yeah. Not a real story, but the real life.
Yeah, it was based on a real life academy that was notorious for abuse. And it was really interesting to see this part, the story told. I agree with you. I think the cinematography was very beautiful. The shots were just fantastic. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It was a really, really interesting story. You can't help but fall in love with the characters, the two main characters, Elwood and Turner.
Yeah.
You root for them.
They're so likable.
Yeah, they're so likable. You want them to survive, basically.
Yeah. You're rooting for them all the time.
Been happening in this academy and by the administrator, and all the corruption that's happening. So you just really want them to survive and make it out okay. And it's such a heartbreaking story that this actually happened. It does flash back from like the past that's in the 60s to when they're young, like they're boys, to basically an adult Elwood.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to see that flip flop, and you kind of it's not hard to follow. I know sometimes when it comes to flashbacks and stuff, or flash forwards in this case, it can be hard to follow, but I think it flowed pretty well.
Yes.
Again, it just goes back to how well the editing and the shots were done.
Yeah.
But overall, I really enjoyed this film. It was a really, really well done film, to be honest. I really, really liked it.
One of the things I'm going to say, too, when I go back to supporting actors in here, and the supporting actor, which was, I guess, the principal, or however you want to say it.
The administrator?
The administrator, Hamish Linklater.
Which I like him from a sitcom of all things. I think the first time I ever saw him in a sitcom was The New Adventures of Old Christine.
Oh yes,
Juliet.
Oh man,
yeah.
I know him from The Big Short. He played a supporting role in there. He was one of Steve Carell's.
He's done so many things.
He's done a lot. Battleship, Fantastic Four. I mean, he's done quite a bit.
So I haven't seen him in like a serious role like this per se. So it's really interesting to see him that way. But I think he did a fantastic job. But I really say the stars are the two leads, the two boys.
Yeah.
I think they just, they were so fantastic.
Yeah.
I just really they just had their own great chemistry on screen together individually.
Yeah.
It was great.
There was a great when it comes down to like great writing. we always talk about that, and we talk about that in TV shows like HBO and everything. But this was written so very well. There's so many sayings in here that I did look up, and they were just like from the book into the script and made it into there. And I felt like it was just so great and so grand and so impactful on the word choices and everything. There was a lot of moments in this film where like you were kind of like have to second guess everything, because it was just like that's the way they treated the kids back then that are colored kids, and it was still during segregated times and everything.
Yeah,
so
it's set in the 60s, so you see that civil rights movement.
Yeah,
they do talk and show footage of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, Man on the Moon, happening. Stuff like that. So we know that time has passed while the kids are in there in this academy, and you can also see the separation between the whites and the blacks, and it's just the colors,
and
you
even see in the academy
and the one
resources
and the one Mexican kid,
that they didn't know where to put him.
They didn't know where to put him. I was like, damn. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's such a real, like you say, impactful film. It shows the dark side of history, which we do need to know. We do need to learn. We cannot forget the past, because that's how we learn and move forward,
and we become better. Exactly.
So I think it's a very, very, very strong film, and I really, really hope people check it out. I think it's gonna be very surprising to a lot of people. There's
this direction that they really went about, and I appreciate it so much from director Ramel Ross, and he shot them very beautifully. The way the camera works, the different angles, the way the shooting happens with the filming,
almost like a time lapse.
Yeah, like the way the camera is just shooting that filming, and just it was so grand. It was so great. There's a lot of shots where like it's first person point of view, and even when the grandmother was putting it's in the trailer, when the grandmother's putting the bed together, you get her shot where she's smiling, and everything just looks so great. And I love the way this filming is done. It's just done so beautifully. And I feel like that he wants to bring nurturing to each character, to each person, to each human being, whether it's good or bad. I feel like that he did such a great job directing, and a great job when it comes to like explaining where the characters are at in here, because there's not that many characters in this movie, but it brings nurture to, like, it doesn't matter what side of the war, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, like what side of the battle segregation were you on, but it felt very good, and it felt like the director really knew what he was about, and so really wanted to touch up this story, very genuine, and I appreciate that a lot. And a lot of stuff I didn't even know this academy did exist, and so we started looking up more, and we're like, oh my god, like this really,
it doesn't surprise me. Like I said, we didn't know that like this academy existed. But it doesn't surprise me, and I feel like it was just like, I think they even mentioned in the film, this is just one that has happened all over the country for however long, it's happened, and that's a really heartbreaking fact. It's a dark part of our history, and I feel like we should learn from it. And I would say, if you really are interested in that and in history, I would definitely check it out, because it's a really, really stellar film.
There's a quote from the book that I really wanted to bring about, because I really wanted to mention it, because it stuck with me. But it says, to forbid the thought of escape, even that slightest butterfly thought of escape, was to murder one's humanity. That was great. I remember hearing that in the film, and it's just, we go back to with the character in depth. There's so much character depth in here, and so much of just really gathering your own thoughts and seeing from different points of view from the characters. We saw two different points of view, because we went to one character, and then we shifted off to the other, and it's done very subtle. It flows very natural, and I love that the way the director really did that part, and especially the writing in here. The writing was so good. Rating 1 out of 10, 10 being the highest. Angela, what are you gonna say here?
So, as much as I love the film, I will say that it did have a little bit of parts that dragged a little bit for me. Doesn't take away from the message. Doesn't take away from the fact that the actors did such a great performance. But there were a lot of parts that did kind of drag a little bit. Nothing. It was still shot beautifully and everything, but the flow could have been a little bit better. Overall, though, really solid film, and I would say a good 7.5 for me, because I really, really want people to see this, and I really want this to get the recognition it deserves. I really do.
For me, I'm a real big fan of famous quotes and good writing. I'm a very big fan of angle shots and different angles, not from historical parts, but just in angle shots in general, and just different tactics to filming. And because of that, because how great it was, how great shots they were, and how great different angles, great camera work, great camera flow, great just, I'm gonna have to give this a solid 8 out of 10. I really did. This movie surprised me. I didn't expect to love this movie, and it definitely. I feel like this, in my point of view, I feel like that this is definitely gonna make my top 10 of the year for sure. It's very impactful, and it's a very grand story that I feel like everyone should listen to, or just read his book, of course, or just even make it a history, or what do you call it, a book report of his book and everything. Nickel Boys. So it makes sense for that, and it's crazy to me how such. I mean, we know it's a real place, but we know the characters are not real. But we knew that things did occur, events did occur there that are just shocking and revealing and just so impactful, and just like how would this even stand? And so it definitely impacted me, in a way to where like, man, that's crazy how that happened and stuff like that. And we should not forget that, because that's how we learn from it. But anyways, going back to where, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. And we do recommend this movie. We're giving it above average, guys. We do recommend this film, guys. Be sure to check this out at a theater near you. Mm-hmm. If you are into this history films, if you are into these very powerful message films, because this has very slight, action sequence, but when it does happen, I promise you, it's very impactful, very powerful. It reminded me a lot of movies that are just like, where it's very dialogue, and then the action comes, like Argo, or like 12 not 12 Years a Slave, but like movies like that. They're just very historical films, and are just like Argo's like all talking, and then the last like 20 minutes it's like, oh my god, it's like but like you're in it for the film. When it comes to a movie going experience, I think you're in it for like the in-depth and the character building. Yeah, exactly, the story, and then boom, it hits you at the end. It's like, damn.
That's how I think the story is what hooks you in, because it's a very compelling story. Again, I think the performance is done by both leads and the rest of the cast was phenomenal, and that's what, like you say, it doesn't have a lot of action per se, but you still want to again, hope that they make it out okay, hope they survive, and you really are rooting for the characters here. And again, it just boils down to a great story.
Yep, for sure. Actresses in here that I really did want to recognize before ending this review.
Ellis Taylor.
Yeah, Ellis Taylor.
As a grandma.
I could really see her being nominated as a supporting role here. I could see her being nominated. She played a very, very powerful acting chops out of here, and I really did enjoy her acting in here. Genuinely enjoyed her acting, and she was just great. She just reminded me a lot of elements of my own grandma. So I was just like, man, she was the with the saying she would say, like have you eaten or today, or like stuff like that. It just felt very genuine to me, and it felt very impactful to me. And I was just like, damn, like a lot of that stuff, it's like, are you eating good? Are they feeding you good? Just stuff like that. I was like, man, I fell in love with it. So I was just like, man, it's so great, it's so grand. But I do want to recognize her, because she just killed it out of the park in this movie, and just really enjoyed I just enjoyed her acting chops in here. I really did. And the main two leads here, of course, I do want to recognize as well, was Ethan.
I think it's Harris.
Ethan Harris. Oh my God, him
as Elwood,
and as Elwood was very grand and very beautiful. Ethan and Brandon Wilson were just, their chemistry together was just so great. Every time they were both on camera, and you were kind of trying to see which point of view we're seeing in this. And this angle and everything, and you just see both of them interact with each other, and it was so spectacular. I enjoyed both of them coming on camera. I enjoyed both of them just talking, conversating with each other, and just really while they're going through the struggles of being at this academy and everything. So I really did like them a lot. What do you think of their
Again, I
performances?
agree. They're on screen chemistry together, individually, so great. I mean, I think they're so promising, and I think they really, really nailed this part. And I really can't wait to see them in the future. I can't wait to see what the future holds for them.
I know, right? This is one of their very first breakout roles, I would say. That's really going to stick out, and I could see them getting nominated. I really can.
I hope so, because again, I think it's such an overall when you say impactful film, and I really want it to get the recognition it deserves.
For sure.
So I hope at least they get nominated. If not, definitely picture or cinematography.
Yes.
We're rooting for you.
I'm almost certain that they're at least going to get nominated. Now, it's going to be a tough race for everyone to win, especially for Best Picture, Best Supporting.
That's hard.
The Oscar race is always tight. The
It's
Oscar race is always
stacked.
tight. It's always stacked with all these actors and actresses and everything. And so it's just, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if every single person gets nominated for a best lead or best supporting. Same thing with the males and the females. So it would definitely be interesting to see if they both get nominated. So
2024 has been a really, really good year for film. So
a lot of that's the thing too. A lot of notable recognition comes a long way, and I feel like a lot of films are going to be like recognizing with other actors and actresses as well. So definitely interested to see where these two if they're gonna. I hope they get nominated. I really do, and I'm definitely gonna say there's a high possibility chance that they're gonna get nominated because of their great performance.
They can go toe to toe with some of the contenders out there, honestly.
Yeah.
So. Best of luck. I can't wait. The award season should be announced pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we have a few more films to wrap up this year, but definitely check out this one in the meantime and let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, let us know in the comments down below, guys. As always, I'm your host, Ryan D, aka Ryan680.
I'm Angela, that cat lady Ange.
This is Alamo City Movie Talk, guys. We see you at the movies. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, and thank you for making this a part of your day. Latest.